Bam! Canada vs. the World Season 2 is finally here and we are absolutely going to be talking about it. Damn, I'm so excited for this season. Let's get into it. Welcome to my channel, everyone. It is your least favorite Drag Race commentator, Jer. I am here to talk about this absolutely incredible season, and we're going to be paraphrasing a lot of what happened and getting into my thoughts about the whole thing. Episode 1 is called Drag Pop. I have already made a video discussing my thoughts about each one of the contestants. It will be in the playlist that this video is already a part of. Really quick entrances. We got Alexis coming in first in a wedding gown looking absolutely beautiful. LaPhil was the most surprising entrance look. I really wasn't expecting a lot from them, but I was very happy to hear that their pronouns are he, him, and they in drag, and I think that's really freaking cool. Those balloons were psychotic, and I loved them. Fierce coming back in the prolapse look is so unserious, and I'm obsessed with her. Kennedy admitting that she hasn't watched any of these seasons really kind of gave me the ick in the same way that Mayhem gave me the ick when she said she didn't watch anybody, especially when you got someone like Alexis who knows everybody that's coming in, or at least is faking it if she didn't, and was really trying to just be super present and get to know them on a personal level rather than just through the TV. I know that Kennedy is booked and blessed, but so is Alexis Mateo, so it always just rubs me wrong when you go to an all-star season, especially a Versus the World, and you haven't watched the other seasons. Personal issue. Feel free to disagree. Eureka had my absolute favorite entrance look. This red looked so luxe on her. And I do want to say, on a story level, this episode ended up really strong on the television side, with Eureka wanting to kind of mother and mentor La Kahena to having to lip sync against her at the end of the episode. That was great TV, people. We get introduced to the Golden Beaver, who's actually golden this season. That was one of my biggest complaints in season 4 of Canada's Drag Race. And my favorite part was Kennedy not having a clue what the hell this beaver was and really not understanding what was gonna happen to her this season. The Maxi Challenges girl groups, as I predicted from that video that I just talked about a bit ago. I'm not surprised. Get to know you songs are kind of a standard for a lot of these All-Stars type seasons. My thing with this particular girl group is that I don't think I'm going to walk away remembering any of these verses. I remember that Lemon was fierce, I remember that Kennedy was fierce, and I remember really liking LaPhil, but I couldn't tell you a thing they said. In the sort of like pantheon of get to know you things, I think this one had my favorite setup with each one of the songs that they can get, but they don't know what they're gonna sound like. They just get the title card and a sort of brief description of what the vibe is of that song. Brooke pulls names out of a fishbowl, and I think this is really fair and judicial. It makes it really easy to make sure that none of us think that anything is rigged or overproduced, that anybody got intentionally cucked by the show. And they get to choose the song that they want to participate in. That also means they get to choose their groups. So whoever's last doesn't really get a good shot at the song or the people that they're gonna be paired with. So it was interesting to see how this all played out and who went where. There are some people in this group that I would have adamantly avoided if I knew I wasn't a dancer. And especially knowing that some of these girls did a certain way on their seasons. Like if I saw Tainomi, I would be a little bit worried about being on a group with her because she bombed her first one. I would be really excited to work with Lemon because she's very good at what she does. I would be nervous to be paired with Kennedy because she is a dancer, and I would be nervous to be paired with Fierce because she's not a dancer. So these teams could have gone any different kind of way, but the way that they shuffled out was Team Bopulence, which was La Kahena, Eureka, and Alexis. Team Tongue Pop, which was Kennedy, Lemon, and Cheryl. And I really love that Lemon and Cheryl are sort of creating this secret alliance, while the Canada girls are doing a more overt alliance. I like that the UK versus the world group is banding together. I thought this may have happened, and I'm really glad that it did. And then we have Team This Beat, which was LaPhil, Fierce Alicious, and Tainomi. I love Canada's Drag Race so much because they are really considerate on this side of the production element. I feel like it's really hard to look at the team assignments and say like, this was rigged, this was sabotage, even though Miss Fierce Alicious feels like this was sabotage already because she got last picked. We did learn that Kennedy was expecting a baby, which she did just announce today after DragCon that they did miscarry. So it's kind of tough because you announce something on TV and then it doesn't pan out, and the parasocial relationship that fans have with some of these queens gets really weird and awkward. But sending all the love to Kennedy Davenport, because I'm sure that that was a hard thing to deal with, especially seeing it on TV again and getting reminded of that excitement. I can only imagine that that doesn't feel very good. So we move through the episode and we see that the teams are sort of struggling in the areas that I predicted that they would. Lakahena is a pork chop queen for a reason, and that's no shade or disrespect, but when you go home early, you don't really have the TV chops to know everything to expect from Drag Race, and if you go home early, you probably don't have all the skills that it takes to go all the way to the end, like dancing, like seamstressing, like acting, like improv. And I think we saw that here. And of course, Eureka has traditionally struggled in girl group challenges. She's usually not very present until it's her time to go. And we've seen that in interviews, that one where she looked like she was kind of tweaking out, and the whole time everybody is talking and she's just like fidgeting the whole time. But then when it's her time to talk, she's like totally present and not moving around and is fine. So I wasn't surprised that that team did quite badly, at least in the performance aspect, but Alexis Mateo killed it. For Alexis's team, and I'm gonna say that it was hers because she pretty much choreographed the whole thing, I don't think the song was particularly very memorable. I thought it was kind of like, well, I do agree with the judges that Alexis really didn't need to explain who she is. With the Get to Know You song, with icons like Kennedy, Alexis, and Eureka, we don't need to get to know them. We need to know how they fit in the song. And I think Alexis could have done something like, I'm Alexis Mateo, queen of freaking chorizo, if you don't know, act a fool, girl. And then end something with like, and that's why Derek don't like you. And I think that would have been really fierce, just reference all the memes. I feel like that works with Populence, and it isn't really like a get to know you moment because we already know her. It's just explaining why we think she's really cool. Team This Beat had one of my favorite melodies, but it was just kind of underwhelming all the way across. Thought LaPhil was clearly the standout in that group, and had this been judged individually, LaPhil would have been at the top, especially with his runway look. It looked so cool and conceptual. Fierce was really stiff, and Tainomi was just like really pretty but didn't do anything else. So I'm not quite sure what the parameters were for judging who was in the bottom, but for me, I kind of thought that Fierce and Tainomi were the weakest of everybody. I thought Eureka at least had good moments while she was present, but maybe it was all judged on the runway because that's a different story. And then finally, Team Tongue Pop. I really loved this song and the idea behind it. I like that it was a clapback to haters. Kennedy looked beautiful and she was really fun and present, but if you look at her mouth, she knew almost none of those words. Which has happened before to Kennedy in lip syncing challenges. If you go all the way back to Glamazonian Airways, when she's doing her lip sync, she's like the whole time, because I don't think she knows any of those. And then if you look back at her Janet, she doesn't really know any of those words either during All Stars 3. And she didn't really know a lot of these words either. Cheryl looked so good, was so fierce, was so funny. I loved everything about what she did. I loved her runway as well, which we'll get to. I think that Cheryl easily could have been the winner. I think they were trying to do a storyline for Lemon, which I'm not upset about, but I think this easily could have been Cheryl's week. And then obviously, Lemon was really strong in that group. She's such a good raptress. She's so good at what she does. She's so good at line reading and connecting verses and really making you feel like the song is not just some silly drag queen boopity bop. My only problem with Lemon's performance is that I hated her hair. I really didn't like that flat thing that she was doing, and I didn't really like her hair either in her entrance. I hope that Lemon's hair matches the outfits, because those were all really elevated, and so far the hair has kind of just been like wah wah. And I'm not one to talk. I haven't done drag in a very long time, and if I did, I'd probably look like a busted mess. But that's how I felt. So let's get to the runway, where Brooklyn Heights looked absolutely beautiful in pink. Wasn't a huge fan of the hair, but I think I'm having problems with hair this week. And can I just say, Tracy Melshore looks beautiful always. And one of my favorite things about Tracy is the way that she dances when she's like doing her judging panel thing. Tracy doing that dance is my favorite thing. Like, I think about her just like looking beautiful going, huh. Last note that I have about the girl groups before we talk about the runway is there was a moment at the very beginning when Alexis is singing that Eureka and La Kahena pass in front of her, and I didn't understand that blocking. I don't understand why they didn't go behind her, because theatrically it's really weird to have your lead singer of a verse get covered by two people. You wouldn't do that in a music video or in theater, so that was weird blocking. I don't know if that was Eureka and La Kahena just making a mistake or what, but that was weird for me. So let's talk runways, because this is my favorite thing in the whole world. The runway category is Wonders of the World, Your Very Best Drag. Alexis Mateo looks beautiful and stunning in this eggplant purple. I love all the stoning and the intricate details that are going on here, plus those feathers. Those feathers are expensive and I'm obsessed with them. It was very Florida drag to me and I love that. I'm such a stan of Alexis Mateo. Get ready, because this whole season I am going to be standing every single week. Next out was La Kahena, and this was such a basic look. I mean, a panty and a corset with some chiffon draping and a bedazzled scorpion does not make a runway look. I did like her explanation of the look, and I love that she was incorporating her heritage and her background into it, but it just does not translate to a good runway look. It was too low-key. Then we have Eureka, and I did not enjoy this silhouette. The heart thing didn't show for me. I didn't get heart. I didn't get elephant. I agreed with Brooke that the bra was really distracting. My favorite element of this look is this big felt crown. I don't know what that had to do with the rest of the look, but it was cool. And I kind of wish that she had gone for like some type of cutesy princess look over that, because I think the colors looked nice, just the silhouette and shape was really weird. Next up we have Lemon looking stunning. Loved the corset. I loved the gloves. I wasn't obsessed with the skirt. I kind of wish that it looked a little more like a lemon rind. Maybe if there was some type of like white at the bottom, like a trim so that it looked like a lemon wedge, that would have been nice, but I loved the sculptural hair. Can I just say, like on a wig level, I was really distracted by the back pulling up, and I know that gluing down wigs like this is like a whole process, but when Lemon was like turned to the side, they could have blurred that shit for TV, because you could see all along the side where the wig was not glued or pinned, and you could just see Lemon's real hair underneath it and all that darkness that's coming, and the pull up and the lace, and that was really distracting for me. Most of the time on Drag Race, they blur their wig lines, so I don't know why they didn't blur that somehow. I'm sure that there was some type of editing trick they could have done, but somebody in editing did not like Lemon, because that was dirty that they did that to her. Next out is Kennedy Davenport looking stunning in pink and green. And am I crazy, or is this like pretty much a pink redo of her green look from season 7? Maybe I'm misremembering what that look was, but I'm gonna try and find a side-by-side and put it right here. I feel like she even had feathers on that green look, and it's a good look. I've seen it, but I loved it. And I mean, you can't deny that those sparkles just catch your eye. And Kennedy's makeup looked incredible here. I love that Kennedy paints for like the back row, but also is soft enough that if you're up close, it doesn't look like a disaster, because some queens paint for the back row, but then you get up close and you're like, ugh, get it away. Next out is Cheryl Hole in white, and she even references that that is quite lofty for an Essex girl because they wear a lot of fake spray tan. She looked beautiful. I thought that the top was a little bulky, so I agreed with Brooke. If the feathers had come down to here, if we got a whole shoulder and upper clavicle moment, I think that would have made the look even better. So I get that, but she did look like an old Hollywood movie star, and I thought that was glam. And especially for Cheryl, we don't see looks like that from her. We saw a lot of really low-key looks in her original season, and we saw a lot of bodysuits. Were they fierce? Yes, but we didn't see anything this opulent. So it's cool to see Cheryl's drag evolving and getting stronger, and her aesthetic really going in harder into drag. Next out is Tainomi, and this is the Instagram problem, is the waist up is beautiful. It's the RuPaul problem. We're wearing sweats. We don't need to look cute from below here because nobody's gonna see that in a video format or in a picture format. I can wear sweats. It don't matter. RuPaul can too when she's in that judging seat. But on the main stage of RuPaul's Drag Race or Canada's Drag Race or whatever franchise you're on, you're getting a 360 picture, and you can't just do the Instagram thing where the waist up is really visually cool and then the skirt is satin. Like, everything else was really nice about it though. That was the problem. This collar was beautiful, the necklace was beautiful, this color, this chocolate color is so beautiful. She literally looked like a caramel chocolate bar that was like melting in your hand, and it was elegant. But I really hated this satin skirt. And that makeup? Bitch. I'm so excited for Tainomi this season. I can't wait to see what else she's gonna do. I really loved her in her original season, and I hope that she's able to get out of her head because I see her in it already. Next out was LaPhil, and honestly, he could have been in the top if this had been judged differently. This dragon look, the red and the gold with these big campy eyeballs and the headpiece, everything about it was really fabulous and stunning and camp, and definitely not what I was expecting from LaPhil. I was expecting something completely different, and this kind of blew me away. Next out is the most unserious drag queen in the entire universe, Miss Forthalicious, coming out in an updated version of the Prolapse dress. And I think this is honestly maybe what saved this group, is that it was such a stupid, dumb look, but I loved it. I loved this updated version of this dress. I hope that Fierce does not reference her season anymore. I love when queens do it once or twice, but once they do it more than that, it's a lot. Like when Monet referenced the sponge dress, they never did that again. That was fine for me, but when Mo kept doing Brown Cow Stunning again and again and again and again, it was like, girl, stop. So we get to the judging, and they're judged as groups rather than as individuals. And I go back and forth on this. On seasons where they judge them individually, I'm like, they should have been judged as groups. And then when they're judged as groups, I'm like, they should be judged individually. So I think it's like a grass is greener on the other side type situation. But the reality for me is that most of the groups were not cohesive. While the fiercest team, Lemon, Kennedy, and Cheryl, were really cohesive, Kennedy didn't know a lot of the words. Alexis was the standout in her group, while Eureka and La Kahena were doing whatever they were doing. And Tainomi and Fierce might as well have not been there because LaPhil was the only one I was watching. So this could have been judged individually, and a high member from each team could have been chosen. I could see a world where LaPhil, Lemon, and Cheryl as the tops, and then the bottoms being La Kahena, Eureka, and Fierce. Because I mean, Fierce was so stiff, and doing the Prolapse dress again, they probably would have been like, hey girl, don't do that again. But I think they were trying to avoid keeping a Canadian in the bottom week one, because I don't think they wanted a situation to happen where one of them may have gone home. During the Untucked, we get some drama, and there's been a lot of conversation about this online. There's been a lot of buzz, and people are like defending Eureka, saying that she was just joking, but a joke has got to be funny. And saying I just don't want to lip sync, that's not funny. But I will say Alexis going in and starting drama week one and saying this is not a comedy show to me, I am stealing that. If someone offends me, if someone bothers me, I am going to say forevermore, this is not a comedy show to me. It was very much giving me when Tyra was yelling at Tiffany and she goes, this is a joke to you. You should be serious like these other girls. It was that same kind of like psychotic energy, but that's why I love Alexis Mateo. Lemon decides to save Alexis because she thinks Alexis did the best and didn't deserve to be in the bottom. And there's a lot of different ways that this could have panned out. Fierce said it best. There are two girls that are in the bottom that have already had a chance to be here, and they both flubbed. Well, I don't think Alexis flubbed, but Eureka certainly did. So put the American girls at the beginning get one of them out, and then we've got a strong contender who's good. Both of them are good at improv, snatch game, acting, and design. Literally every challenge that we know is coming up in this season based off of what happened last season. They are good at every one of those categories. So it would make the most sense to get them out because La Cajena's probably gonna flop next week and the week after, and you could sort of gothy her through the competition, use her as a safety net, so that when it's time for one of the strong girls to go home, you get rid of the weakest link. That's the most strategic way of playing the game. But as we've seen in Canada, they're very kind, they're very polite, they're very caring, and they're very fair and judicial. They don't play like Americans play the game. A lot of non-Americans play fair. They play the game the way that they would want to have it experienced to them, that if they fumbled, or if they were on a team that fumbled, but they personally did good, they would want to get saved, because why should they get punished? Because their teammates were bad. And I see both sides of ways that you could play this. You could snipe out a strong competitor early and make sure that your path to victory is clear. Or you play fairly, because you know that you're good enough that it doesn't matter how the rest of the game plays out, you're probably not gonna land in the bottom. And I think Lemon is very secure where she's at. I think she knows, like, I'm probably gonna be good. I'm good at Snatch Game, I'm good at design, I'm good at acting. What do I have to worry about? I'm gonna play fairly and hope the other girls start playing fair, and if they don't, that's on them. We saw that same situation with Marina. We saw that same situation with La Grande Dame. They played very fairly. Even Scarlett, after all her big talk about, oh, I'm gonna snipe out a strong one, she still played the game fairly when it was her time to do so. So I feel like, based off of what is happening so far, the game is gonna be kind of interesting, because if Kennedy or Eureka or Fierce win, it is going to for sure be the strongest competitors that are gonna lip sync against each other. Which I gotta say, I love that we are going back to lip sync for your life, because when we have a lip sync for your legacy, I think there's too much pressure from the fans to pick the right person. So when you are picked to decide who's going to be saved, who's gonna go home, you may win that money, but then you've got eyeballs across the world who are gonna send you all kinds of letters, right? About why you made the decision you did. And it also opens up a situation where someone doesn't have to try as hard. If I am in the top and I don't want to have to send someone home, I could just stand there like Bibi Zahara Benet and pull my wig off and barely lip sync, because I don't want to have to send Trixie home. I don't want to have to do it, so I'm not going to, and I'll let the other person do it. And I can sort of just throw the lip sync. And it doesn't make for a fun show, but when you have two girls that desperately want to be there, they're gonna fight even harder so we get a good show. This lip sync song was not really great for Drag Race, but Canada's Drag Race does things very different. They don't always pick songs that are good shows, they pick stuff that is going to play well to camera, and this is a good song for that. And we got to see Eureka perform excellently. She devoured that lip sync. Her emotions, her facial expressions, the way that she reaches out at the air and grasps at it because she's so hurt by the emotion of this song and is really feeling that energy. Eureka performed extremely well, and we see that La Cajena is a pork chop queen for a reason. She did all these weird like grasping at her chest, and that's such a marker of a young drag queen. I don't know how long she's been doing it, but here in the States there's a couple things that you see a lot from young drag queens who haven't really performed that much. There's a lot of like weird clutching of things because they don't know what to do with their hands. They don't know that there's like a soft, like when you grab out and you put your hand out and you just do the delta work, or what Eureka did. They don't really understand what that motion is like, so they just sort of like put it somewhere. And you'll see a lot of like this, because they don't know where their hands are supposed to go. Or they'll like sort of pose like this or weirdly, because they're not thinking like we need to be soft. When they go to like point at stuff, it's usually like an aggressive like, flailing out. There's not like a soft pointing, a twirl, and a point. So I don't know what La Cajena does, and I'm sad that I didn't really get to learn what she does. All I saw was someone who couldn't really perform very well and got dog walked in a lip sync by a professional at television and at lip syncing, because that's what Eureka does. Even when she doesn't know the words, she's compelling to look at. I think of this one lip sync where she's lip syncing to Sia's snowman, I think, and she's wearing this like red dress with all these ostrich feathers in it. She's got this beautiful sculpted hair, and she comes out and she doesn't know one goddamn word. Her mouth is just moving, but the way that her eyes are fluttering like she knows the lyrics, the way that she's sort of like grasping at her coat and posing and like squeezing at her titties and just commanding the audience, even though she doesn't know one word. That's what's strong about Eureka, is that she knows how to do that. She knows how to get your attention, and that bodysuit was a really smart choice for the lip sync. If it had been Alexis versus Eureka, I don't know how that would have gone. Alexis is really good at ballads, so I want to believe that Alexis would have eaten her up, but what if Eureka won and we lost Alexis Mateo week 1? I would have been furious. So I'm really glad that Lemon chose Alexis to move forward. Anyway, this has been a very long video, much longer than I wanted it to be. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Next week is an acting challenge, and I'm so glad to see that there's no green screen. RuPaul & Co. Pick up the pace. I'm tired of green screen acting challenges. I have a feeling that Lemon is gonna do good. I have a feeling that Eureka's gonna do good. No. I have a feeling that Lemon's gonna do good. I have a feeling that Alexis is gonna do good. I have a feeling that Kennedy would probably do pretty good in this too. It's a murder mystery type situation, a whodunit, and I'm so excited. Anyway, I will see y'all in the flip. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did, and I hope you're enjoying this season. Can't wait to keep talking about it. Hey, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to click that like button. And if you wanna see more, hit subscribe. Goodbye.